puts Kentucky back on the field, and then Ray Davis, all day Ray. Man, oh man, is Davis doing it up.
This is Tootin taking it to his left, got a seam. Facial Tootin on the move, got some alleys out there. Beef, touchdown!
Back shoulder throw, he's got it. It's Tez Johnson. Johnson, call him Johnson, touchdown.
Is their defense. Little hole there to the right side, first down and then some. Jeremiah Love, touchdown Notre Dame.
It's Williams in motion, low snap, Melrose stopped. Michigan makes a stand and comes up with a milestone playoff victory.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Week 0 podcast. This is a fun day for us, obviously. Today, the CFP final rankings will be revealed. First time we'll ever have a 12-team playoff. I, of course, am your host, Connor, otherwise known as the Top Left Box, otherwise known as What the Fuck is Virginia Tech. To my left is Ryan Playoffs, Fravel. Below me is Triple M, Mr. Mays Madman, Phil, who was a very, very happy man last Saturday, and enjoyed seeing the demise of Ohio State. We'll see how that loss affects them. And then, of course, we got Ryan's friend Sean coming in, also another Notre Dame fan. So me and Phil are now outnumbered. We have to deal with their bullshit. But Sean's a little bit more. Sean's a little bit more reasonable of a man. Ryan's the delusional one. Sean keeps Ryan in check. So hopefully Lucas and Josh might be able to join us a little bit. Obviously, the rankings are going to be coming out very shortly. We just wanted to start this now. I don't know exactly when they're going to come out. I'm not sure if they're going to come out right now or within the next few minutes. We shall see. But how you guys doing? What was your biggest take? Let's talk about our takeaways from yesterday. What was your biggest takeaways from the games yesterday?
Yeah, so my biggest thing, I mean, everyone's here tonight or today, interested to see what they do with SMU and Alabama. I think that's the biggest question. Everything else is kind of just seeding purposes, but what they do with SMU and Alabama is going to set a precedent going forward that I think the committee will either say one of two things: either strength of schedule doesn't matter if you put SMU in, or if you put Alabama in, conference championships don't mean a damn thing anymore.
Whether you win or whether you lose, or even just making an appearance, even if you lost. Yeah.
I agree completely. I think it's also how their mindset is with conference championships. Will they punish Texas and Penn State if they punish SMU? Are they going to have a double standard with that? Are they not going to punish all of them? Will they punish all of them? That's a big thing to watch out for, too.
Yeah. To piggyback off of both of those. Oh, I'm sorry. To piggyback off of both of those, I agree. I think it is questions are going to be answered, right? Because like you said, Penn State and Texas both lost. They should be punished accordingly if SMU is punished. But we also heard Ward Manuel earlier in the season say that teams that made their conference championship weren't going to be punished so heavily, right? So we'll see if they stick to that or if it's something different.
I think for me, what's going to be interesting is, and what would have been interesting if one or two of those teams, SMU, Penn State, Texas, if they lost in blowouts like SMU and Penn State were down, they were both down big, clawed back, made the games a lot closer. Does that help them a little bit, or do they still get punished for having fallen behind as badly as they did? You know what I mean? And I think if like Clemson had won 31-7, like it was at one point, then I'm sure you could more feasibly make that argument of sure Alabama probably deserves to be in over SMU, but SMU showing that fight, Penn State showing that fight, coming back, making those games closer, and having a chance to win, or at least going to overtime, especially in the case of SMU, I think shows that they can stick with it. Obviously, while we all thought Alabama is going to be that team, obviously Ole Miss and South Carolina fans are also going to be mad because they're 9-3. They're the same record, and that's the whole thing. Alabama. Their schedule is all intertwined with that. I'm sure some South Carolina fans are very pissed off at the ACC for letting Clemson win the conference.
And you've already seen it. There's South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss fans. Like all of them are ganging up together, and they're saying we would blow out anybody in the top 10, all that type of crazy stuff because of the SEC.
There's a guy I follow. There's a guy I follow on Twitter. He's a Mets. I know him mostly from covering the Mets. Giraffe Neck Mark, but he's went to South Carolina and he tweeted out after Clemson won that the ACC is a joke conference. And I was just like, you're just mad that Clemson's going to be in the CFP and South Carolina isn't. So yeah.
I mean, you can't be mad you missed the playoffs when you lose 3 games in a year, right?
Especially when those said games are.
South Carolina should have beaten Alabama. They had a chance to win that game. South Carolina had chances to win at least 2 or 3 of their.
They should have beaten LSU. But
my thing is like that. How is it? And Phil, you know what it's like. What it takes to win every single week. You know, last year being a Michigan fan, you know what it looked like to go. You know, even when you had close games, right? You handled business when you needed to against teams that you should handle business against, whether they were close or not. You guys came out, find a way to come out on top. That means something, and that has to mean something, especially when you have an Alabama team that knew what was at stake when they went on the road to Norman, Oklahoma, and they got beat 24-3, and they gave up after the first quarter in that game.
Yeah,
they knew what was at stake, and they gave up. That's not a championship caliber team.
That's the thing for me is that we saw this, and we didn't get to talk about this, how Ohio State didn't get more punished for losing
Michigan
to a, no offense, 6-5, not a good Michigan team, Phil. Obviously, they're not as good, obviously, as they were last year, right? Losing, obviously, they lost at home, but then Miami got punished massively for losing to a 9-3 Syracuse on the road, right? And that's just ridiculous. Like, have some consistency. Syracuse is obviously a far better team, right? Now, maybe it's because maybe they punished them because Miami was up 21-0 and blew that lead. I can understand that a little bit, but like they dropped from 9 spots.
Yeah, they dropped 6 spots.
6 spots.
I mean, you got, and they beat Louisville and Duke, who were 26 and 27 in the rankings. So they're right outside the rankings. So you got to view that as an aspect too. I don't know where this came from. I told Ryan this last week. It's definitely a newer thing. I think that's happened in the last year or two. Everything switched to how many ranked wins you have to how many current ranked wins you have. That's definitely
because I was watching those guys. I was watching the countdown, the show, and they literally were talking about that with Notre Dame. Ryan and I were listening to it about how Notre Dame currently doesn't have any ranked.
We have one ranked win.
They have one ranked win, Army. But then they beat Texas A&M, who was ranked but isn't anymore. Navy, who isn't ranked anymore. Louisville, who isn't ranked. Yeah. Right. So that's almost like a punishment against them. And obviously, they're also being punished for playing a Florida State team that we all thought was going to be good, or at least better than not as good as last year, right? But they were horrible, and that brings down their schedule. It makes their schedule look worse than it actually is, right? It's like the criteria that they rank for whatever is just like changing from year to year, week to week, as well as to why
it's changing on
one team over the other
based on who they want in the playoff. I think it was somebody last night, like
they want Alabama. I think they want to put Alabama in the playoffs.
About like the brand over, necessarily what's happened this year, right? And these brands, Alabama's a huge brand. They want people that are going to watch these games. Basically, they're trying to have the most viewers for these games. That's pretty clear. SMU, for all of what they've done this year, and I think they are deserving to be in the playoff. Millions of people aren't clamoring to the televisions to watch SMU, right? Millions of people won't be clamoring to the televisions to watch Miami even. Hell, they can't fill a stadium in the city of Miami. So we get it from that perspective, right? But at the same time, if you don't put teams like Miami in, SMU in, if they're overly punished, then they'll never get to that point either.
Yes, I agree completely.
I mean, SMU Clemson, they could even fill. They played in Charlotte, 3 hours from me. I saw the stadium at one point. They could even fill the full stadium there. And Clemson's what? Not even a 2-3
And that's the thing, is
drive.
like I've been told, Phil, to your point, I came out with my bracket. And I'll pull it up here real quick. And I've had
show your bracket. This is Ryan.
This is what I think it should be.
Rank is gonna.
And I disagree.
I think it's a fair bracket, but one comment I did get a few times on this was these first round games aren't going to sell. These would be terrible.
Arizona State will play in the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona. Georgia would play in the Peach Bowl in Georgia.
No, they're talking about the first round.
No. He's talking about the home games. He's talking about the home games, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like nobody wants to watch Notre Dame, SMU, Tennessee, Ohio State. Might be the only draw. Clemson, Texas, nobody wants to see.
That'd be
Indiana,
awesome.
Penn State, nobody wants to. I'm saying
why would
the brand bias? In the brand bias,
I mean, Texas, Clemson, I think is a game people will watch.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. If you're talking about draw as in eyes to the state, as in butts and seats, every single game is going to be a sellout, obviously. But if you're talking about eyes to the games,
yeah,
I like Ohio State, Tennessee. That's a cool matchup.
But that's the only one you look at. That's the only one you look at.
I like Clemson, Texas.
That's a blockbuster.
I like Clemson, Texas. Clemson's come along decently.
Agreed.
And Texas is reeling. So, you have a hot team
but
in Clemson.
Compared to like if you had Notre Dame play Alabama. Notre Dame, Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio State would be your big money makers. Without a doubt. Then probably Clemson, Texas. But then again, Clemson's lost its luster. It's not the same Clemson team.
It's still Clemson. They got fans everywhere. If they're in the playoffs, they're
Clemson. They've won the ACC, 8 of the last 10 years, right? So they're still
a fix for this is to give Indiana the respect that their record says, which I disagree with. Indiana's not as good as their record suggests, but giving Indiana that respect that their record suggests would probably fix this, because you could then theoretically match Indiana with SMU. Just take that loss, right, in terms of viewership.
Just take it as like a bad, make that like a bad match or something.
Exactly.
Have Notre Dame play Penn State.
Exactly.
I would agree to the point with at the beginning when we were talking about, you were saying SMU doesn't draw people, but who's to say that if SMU doesn't make the playoffs consistently, they can't make that draw. That's why it's important for them to make
in Dallas.
I agree with that. And by the way, the the ASU coach, I think, is like negotiating a deal to an extension, right? Which I like. This is another thing that happens to teams like this. The SMU coach, for instance, people are he might get a call from Minnesota, whoever, right? And now that is a bigger opportunity than SMU. And then he goes to Minnesota and in the world of obscurity for the rest of his career, because Minnesota just can't get good. But he took a better opportunity. And now SMU drops down again.
I do want to discuss this bracket, something I talked before we started. I don't think nobody's talking about it, but there is a good chance, not saying I agree or disagree, a good chance that a 2-loss Ohio State can be ranked above a 2-loss Penn State. That is a reality.
I see that.
Well, I mean, they won the head-to-head, so I understand.
But then the only problem with that would be Indiana is stuck at the 10 seed. There is nothing Indiana can do. So does the committee want to see an Ohio State-Indiana rematch, like in the first round?
No. Ohio State fans would love it.
No, what you do is you put Ohio State at like 6, and then maybe Texas at 7. Now I don't.
So you have Texas play Indiana.
I think Texas is the 5 seed. That's my prediction.
But then you run into again. Phil,
I agree with that.
You run into Texas versus Georgia, part 3 in the second round.
See, that's what Ron and I were saying. I don't think anyone wants. I don't think the committee wants any rematches until the semifinals.
I think they're okay. I think they're okay with conferences playing each other, like if it was Penn State.
Yeah, but they don't want direct.
But they don't want the rematches.
They don't want Texas. They don't want Texas Georgia in the second round. They want that as a semifinal game for to go to the championship.
I agree, which is why I think Texas will be the 5th seed. By the way, And a Texas SMU game is a lot different than a Notre Dame.
That's
SMU
actually
Yes.
would be a big draw because
Yeah.
that's obviously
Yeah.
that's an insane.
I
rivalry.
think Notre Dame. I did tell Ryan this. It is interesting when you look at Texas if they should be 5 seed or not. Their 2 losses are to top 10 Georgia, but one they got blew out by 15. The score is better than how the game actually was, and then they lost to overtime with the backup quarterback. They have no wins against teams greater than 8-4. A&M 8-4 was their best win. All the other records were losing or barely bowl eligible teams. It's very interesting to see why they should be that seed. But I do think nobody's talking about with the Irish. Everyone's saying they're going to be 5, and they'll be in front of Texas and Penn State, or they'll be 7 behind Penn State and Texas. I disagree. I think they could be 6. Penn State will be 7, and Texas will be 5. That's
Which,
I think that's
I'll
how it
be
should
honest, I prefer the 6 seed. Give me the 6 seed. You give me Clemson round 1, and then you get Boise State.
By the way, speaking of eyes on football games, Texas SMU is bigger draw than Notre Dame SMU, and Notre Dame Clemson bigger draw than Texas Clemson.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think Penn State Indiana, a conference matchup, and it would be
that's just going to be an L. But Penn State,
but then you got Tennessee, Ohio State, and I think that's gonna be a big draw too. That's
happening
Tennessee,
no matter what. We're gonna see Tennessee, Ohio State.
Ohio State and Tennessee.
However it works out, night game for Penn State, please.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I
think
agree.
that's what we need.
How would you feel?
I know Phil you don't like Penn State, but that's what you need. They need another whiteout at night. The
night game should be Penn State, Indiana, if that happens in Ohio State.
How would you guys feel about Penn State? Because
exactly,
the only way Penn State gets a night game is if they play the Friday night game. So, and I'll be honest, you probably put
this is a Friday night game. This Indiana Penn State.
Put the lesser of the.
You're not putting this as a Saturday night game. You're putting it as a Friday.
No, I don't believe Saturday night has a game. I believe you get a noon game. Or 2 noon games and then a 2:30 game. And that's how that goes.
I believe it's 2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So then
I think it's one Friday. It's one Friday.
I got balloons in the background. I didn't do that. I swear.
That's weird.
But I will say, I would be heavily heated if Notre Dame is 7. And the reason being is Notre Dame has been very close. Jumping Penn State in the AP poll and in the college football playoff rankings. You know, they were talking about it before the USC game. They said they were waiting for the USC game. They talked about it after the USC game with the performance. They were waiting till the Big Ten championship, right? Like I said, I don't agree with punishing heavily, but I don't think it's punishing a team, putting them down a spot or 2 and them still hosting a game.
Well, let me ask this question to the panel. Hold on, Connor. Let me ask this question to the panel. Who do you guys think each individually gets who do you guys think deserves the 5 seed?
Texas. Oh, Texas. Yes.
Texas.
Yeah.
I think it's
because if we are using the term deserves, then I agree actually that Notre Dame deserves the 5
I'm the
seed.
same way, but I think that matchup, that SMU Texas matchup is too big of a draw. And I think
it's
that's
the only draw for SMU.
The only reason I push back on the Texas thing.
What if we see Alabama, Texas? They could be 12. Alabama could be 12.
But the only thing I push back on Texas, this is my thing. Texas doesn't have a ranked win. Their best win would be Notre Dame's second best win.
They beat A&M ranked. Yeah. We can't eat the cake.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
if we have ranked wins against Navy, they have a ranked win.
They also beat ranked Michigan at Michigan.
Now I don't view that as a top 10 win, but I view that as a ranked win.
But hold on, that's not my point. My argument is current ranked wins. I'm not giving Notre Dame credit for that, but I'm saying Notre Dame's second best win is Texas's best win, right? Texas is 0-2 against top 25 teams that are currently ranked. Both Georgia. One, they got absolutely spanked. The second one, they lost to a backup quarterback. Notre Dame has a better resume than Texas. The second loss, I think, makes that difference.
Not to the committee.
I would say Penn State. has a better argument to be ranked ahead of Notre Dame than Texas does.
But they should not drop them at all for losing the conference. Like, I get minimal punishment, but if they don't drop them at all, but they drop SMU and drop Texas, that's going to look bad.
That's kind of right. I mean, like, losing the conference championship shouldn't, that's other than
you shouldn't just not
unless you
move
get
at
blown
all.
out. I know you shouldn't. It's not like they're not going to move at all, but it's like losing the conference championship. Unless you get absolutely blown out, you're not going to get punished. You shouldn't get punished severely.
What about it? SMU's case, Medic? Why did you only say in the case of Texas and Penn State?
Yeah.
SMU.
Let's see what Kinetic says.
Another thing I want to get into before we move on, because I think they're going to be doing the rankings here soon.
Yeah.
SMU or Bama?
My question is I also don't.
I would like to see SMU.
Something we haven't talked about much is I wonder if after this season, if they're going to change it to where it reseeds after the first round.
They should, because the fact that Oregon's reward for winning the Big Ten title is a bye week, but then they got to play Tennessee or Ohio State.
I agree completely. I love the bye week.
Penn State's reward for losing.
Like, sure, Ohio State, Oregon would be an awesome game. Obviously, the first
think
game
about
was
this. No,
fantastic.
think about it. Texas and Penn State gets rewarded for losing their Big Ten and SEC title. They get easy paths.
He said he'd hold it for.
Yeah, but you get a
SMU
bye week to rest after an 8 overtime game and an overtime game against Texas. That's much
actually,
more.
It's not even a week.
Oh, they're doing this. They're doing the rankings.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
They get 4 weeks.
They're doing
like
the
3
rankings.
or 4 weeks.
Yeah, the rankings.
They're about to come out. Okay.
1 Oregon. We knew that was coming.
2 Georgia. Let's see.
2
Are
Georgia.
you ahead of me? You guys are ahead of me. Okay, Georgia.
Yep.
I was 30 seconds behind. Never mind.
Now, do we think this is Boise or Arizona State?
Boise.
I think it's Boise.
I think Boise.
It's got to be Boise, yeah.
Okay, so now they're showing Boise, Arizona State, and Clemson. I swear to God, if it's Clemson, I'm gonna smack.
It's Texas.
They will show. They're going to save the last spots for last. Obviously, I do love. A lot of people hate. I don't agree with auto bids by conference they were talking about, but I do agree with conference championship auto bids. If they do the reseeding, then it would be perfect, like you were saying.
Kinetic, get that propaganda out of here.
To Kinetic's point, really quick. My only pushback is, why should Notre Dame be punished? Why should we drop in the rankings because 2 teams lost in their conference title game?
Yeah,
that's not fair to us.
We didn't lose, right?
Yeah, you guys also didn't play a conference championship.
Didn't play, but that's our punishment for not having a bye week. We agree to that.
If you thought we were
Boise's
better,
3.
if you thought we were better
Boise's 3.
than these teams before, hold on.
Boise, don't spoil
Boise State.
Hey, don't spoil Notre Dame's ranking.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Now I'm ahead of you guys. My bad.
How is that even possible?
Boise's 9 ranked, 3 seed.
Wait, they're 9th?
Yes, they're the 9th ranked team.
So they actually went, because what were they, 10? So
they were 10. Who did they jump? Who did they jump? SMU? SMU, yes. Yeah, they jumped SMU.
Because SMU was 9, so that makes sense.
Yeah. 4 is Arizona. Should be Arizona State.
Arizona State here.
Arizona State stays at 12. They were 16. Excuse me. So they went up. They went up a few. That's fine. That's totally fine.
This makes sense.
They're 12 ranked, but 4 seed. Okay.
Now, Connor, did you send that link?
Rankings,
did you send the link to
Blake?
Blake?
Rankings not matching throws me off, and it really bothers me.
Connor, did you send the link to Blake?
All right. Hey, this is big, Ryan. If we're not 5, we could be 7, and I don't agree.
Oh, I'll crash out if we're not 5 or 6.
I think
you should be 6.
Oh, here we go.
Please be 6. Please. I am begging you, college football.
They'll probably do it from 12 in, I'd imagine.
No. They want to save 12 for last for SMU. Come on.
So Arizona State was ranked number 12.
Come on, please. Please.
So they don't have Clemson inside the top 12. Okay. That makes sense.
Wait, is that what they said? Wait, what?
Yeah, Arizona State is ranked 12. So that means Clemson could be 13th ranked, but still get in. Please. All right, let's see. Come on.
I have a weird feeling that Alabama got in.
I don't know. I mean,
just based off of that ranking.
All right, let's
Clemson's
do spot.
not. Oh, Clemson's 12.
Hold on.
Yep.
What?
Oh, they're showing where Clemson is. 12.
Oh, so now they're doing the
Clemson
reverse.
SMU is out. SMU
what?
is out.
So Clemson was only 17 when they won last
way.
night, and now they're up to only to 16. What?
SMU is going to be out.
Bro. Yeah, that tells you SMU's out. There's no way they're going to rank SMU above them, right?
Yeah,
no.
This is ridiculous.
They should have saved Clemson.
Oh, you fucking.
Now we're going to see 5 through 8.
Texas is 5. Texas 5.
Ah.
Texas.
All right, don't spoil
Texas
6.
Don't spoil it.
6.
Sorry.
It's all
I'm
right.
sorry.
Bro, these
far are you?
motherfuckers,
Is
bro.
Texas just
How
being
does
shown for you
Texas
now?
get 5? Oh, Jesus.
And Texas is 3rd overall, so Texas didn't even drop that much.
Fucking overrated
Texas
ass
really only
team,
dropped,
bro.
Texas only dropped 1 spot.
Oh, dude.
Texas is the 3 ranking?
Okay. Yeah, this is bullshit. This
Okay,
is,
here we go.
Texas.
They dropped 1 spot?
Let's wait. Let's see.
Texas lost, and they get.
Come on, Notre Dame. Now,
No,
if we
next
take
bracket,
Alabama,
next bracket,
Georgia's not
next
the
bracket
number 2
8-9, so it's not gonna be
team.
Notre Dame. Unless they really punish Notre Dame for some reason, it's gonna be 8-9. It's gonna be shown next.
no, I don't think so. Come
I
on,
think they're
Notre
going
Dame.
from
Don't,
top
come
to-
on, Ryan. We'll see.
I think they're going from top down.
Come on.
So basically,
Notre Dame fans are way
Oh no!
again.
Notre Dame!
Don't
No,
go.
oh,
Oh, my
All right.
God!
Are you fucking kidding me?
wow!
Bullshit!
Wow!
Hey, you guys have to clip this
Penn State's
section.
still 4th.
Clip
Penn
this.
State is still 4th.
This is gonna be
They are
great.
the number 4 team.
They're gonna try to fucking fuck us over and make us play Georgia.
You gotta make a short out of this.
Kidding me?
We need to do this, Ryan. You need to cut a short out of these reactions. You need to do that once we're done here, dude.
Penn State. They
Bullshit.
barely beat USC.
So far, Connecticut, it is
Bullshit.
1 seed Oregon, 2 seed Georgia, 3 seed Boise, 4 seed Arizona State, 5 is Texas, 12.
7 is Notre Dame.
Now
7
you
is
give
Notre
us
Dame.
7
Notre Dame
seeds,
got 7. The 6th
Notre Dame's
seed
7.
is Penn State. Notre Dame has the 7th seed, and we know that Clemson is the 12th seed. Clemson will play Texas in the first round.
Play fucking little bro Indiana, bro. What are we fucking doing? Nobody wants to play fucking Indiana.
It's gonna be Notre Dame versus it. It's gonna be
Fucking
Notre Dame
ace,
versus
bro.
Indiana.
The SEC Big Ten bias, bro. This shit is fucking annoying.
And one thing I'm going to ask Ward Manuel shortly.
Can't tell me that Texas is the number 3 team in the nation.
But let's be honest. There's not a sliver of difference between you ever two.
That's extremely disappointing. And I'm going to have people flood me, say, yo, lost to Northern Illinois. They lost their conference championship.
Yeah, but all the NPCs can come out.
Ohio State is the 8th seed.
NIU this, NIU that, NIU this. Hey.
I mean, and now we have no home field advantage playing Indiana. None.
Yeah. They did that shit on purpose, bro.
Bro, do you need home field to beat Indiana?
I don't want to play Georgia round 2. I don't want to play. But don't be surprised now if Penn State plays Alabama.
So Texas is rewarded with an easy fucking path.
I do
We
think
might as well,
Clemson.
you know
I
what?
do think Clemson's a tough game for them.
You know what? We might as well join in the Big Ten and get Indiana's schedule every year because we fucking get the same fucking treatment that Texas just got.
So we would get Notre Dame, Georgia, in second round. Damn.
This
That'd be
shit
big.
is
Hey,
so
and
fucking
I live in
State, okay.
Atlanta, so maybe
So
at the
Tennessee,
Peach
Ohio
Bowl.
State is a lock. Tennessee
No, you know
versus
what,
Ohio
Phil?
State is a lock.
You know who I blame?
Tennessee is the 9 seed. Connecticut. They're gonna play Ohio State at Ohio State.
I blame Ward Manuel. That motherfucker. Oh, he knew what he was doing. Who thought it was a good idea to let the Big Ten athletic director, especially the one for Michigan, to do these rankings?
What?
No wonder the guy that is the athletic director for Michigan's going to have Penn State ahead of Notre Dame and Ohio State. No wonder.
Okay.
Oh,
what are these last two spots for 10 and 11? It's going to be fascinating to see.
The only way this makes it up to me is if we get SMU.
That's fair.
SMU's out, bro.
Unless I'm not SMU, they keep SMU at 11 somehow.
There's no way they got Clemson at 12.
Well, SMU was ranked 10th, 9th or 10th. No, they were ranked like 9th.
Bro, I'm so fed up with this committee, bro.
That'd be a pretty big drop.
Somehow we went from the 4th ranked team to 5th. And we
okay, so you guys, so
Indiana, oh, don't say it.
Notre Dame. Oh man.
Bro, we're not gonna get any credit for beating fucking Indiana. Oh my god.
What do you mean? You get credit. You get to advance.
John, what's your thoughts?
Why can't we have a Notre Dame athletic director running this, bro?
I got a guy in my fantasy football group chat talking. Y'all, maybe if you joined a conference, you'd understand. You'll get blown out again.
Oh, fuck that conference bullshit. Penn State and Texas play cupcakes all year.
Then saying I'm a dumbass and an idiot for thinking Notre Dame should be higher. But
oh, dude,
I don't agree with this.
Connecticut says you guys should join the conference too.
Oh yeah, so we can be like Penn State and play one hard game all year.
He's right. Notre Dame fans crashing out. Okay, here we go.
Now, if Carson Beck is hurt,
I swear to God, it better not be Alabama.
It's going to be.
It's
going to be.
Dude.
I swear to fucking God.
They did Notre Dame fucking dirty, bro.
You're not even going to make it to Georgia. You're going to lose to Indiana somehow. It's going to be hilarious.
They're going to give Penn State the easiest fucking – notice how the SEC champion loser and the Big Ten loser get the easy paths. Make that make sense.
There are downsides to both answers. Because SMU
I don't think it's going to be easy if it's Alabama. If it ends up being Alabama for Penn State, that's not easy.
Choose one of them.
If it's Penn State Bama, that's the Sunday Saturday night game.
G5 school. And the
that's gonna be whatever. That's gonna be a night game.
Oh,
it is! Yes, yes. They listened.
They did it.
SMU Mustang.
SMU.
SMU got in, bro.
Thank you.
Let's give them the easiest.
That's the only good thing about these fucking rankings.
SMU got in.
Yep.
Alabama was the first team out. And Miami was the second team out.
Good.
I'm
good.
So
Alabama's
mad.
out of there. Listen, Penn State is going to the semifinals. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Yeah,
Probably.
because they get a fucking cakewalk because the athletic director is – oh, my God.
Both Penn State and Texas have cakewalks.
So, basically, Lord Manuel was like, how can we punish Ohio State and Notre Dame?
Ryan, can you find the tweet and pull up the official?
Yeah, I can. Hold on a minute. Alabama, Miami.
I don't understand why you're saying Notre Dame got punished. They got Indiana in the first round, bro.
Bro, I don't want to play Georgia. They're making us play Georgia.
And they get SMU and Clemson in the first round. Then they go play Boise, Arizona State while we play Georgia.
Okay, listen to me. I think that Notre Dame has been playing some of the best football in the country.
The only reason Notre Dame fell, though, because looking at the rankings, They're 5.
We
The only
dropped
reason
from
they
4. No, we were 4 last week. We were.
But
They
even
told
still,
us
the
we
reason
were the
bro,
fourth
these teams,
best
both the
team.
teams ahead of you played an extra game.
Exactly. You literally had Georgia,
So who was
Boise
the
State,
team that
Arizona
hopped in
State
front of
all
us?
play conference championships.
Who was the
So-
team that hopped in front of us? Georgia. They had 2 losses.
So there are 2 teams that are
They
that are
won
in
their
the rank.
conference championship. Beating, by the way.
So Boise and Arizona State get bumped. Obviously, take the bids, automatic bids for winning their conference, right? So that's why they're ahead of you guys, right? I
I'm
guess
telling
then
you right
they're like,
now-
Texas barely lost in overtime, so we're not going to drop them. We're going to drop them from 2 to 3.
No, hold on.
Shout out
Right.
to all the Alabama fans who thought they
Penn
were a
State.
shoo-in.
So both
Hold on a
Texas,
minute.
so both Texas. Right, Ryan, can I finish? So both Texas and Penn State were above you guys. I think Texas was 2, Penn State was 3. You guys were 4, correct? That was the rankings.
Mhm.
So they only each
Yeah.
dropped. Texas and Penn State only dropped 1 for losing very close games in their conference championships, right? And then obviously Boise and Arizona State technically jump you guys in terms of getting automatic bids. So that's where that math happens. So is it unfair? A little bit, but
We
I
were
get
told
it. I
we
also
were
get
the
it.
4th
If
best
Texas,
team in
if
the
Texas
nation.
or Penn State get blown out, you guys don't drop from 4 to 7. You
They
probably
lost by
maybe go from
8.
4 to maybe
and
go from 4 to 5, but you weren't going to stay at 5, or you weren't going to stay at 4. Obviously, you're going to drop
Texas
down to 5.
lost to a backup quarterback. They lost, bro. They have their best win is our second best win. So basically, this committee just said, "Fuck the resume. You played in the SEC title. You played in the Big Ten title. Fuck all this." Like,
Ryan, can you find it?
Bro, I'm so pissed right now.
I'm hopeful that we.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Nick Saban said, "I hope we learn."
Joe Klatt's saying one side of this bracket is loaded, the other is favorable, to put it mildly, which is pretty much how it is.
I think the biggest crash out is going to be Bama fans. Bama fans.
That's probably true too.
Nick Saban's
Obviously,
crashing out right now. You don't see it? He's sitting here saying, "I hope we learn from the lessons from this first year." After
Saban, Saban's saying that. I wonder what school he coached for. LSU. I'm sure he's mad about that.
All right, here I got it. I
Great
gotta pull it up.
games for fans to see, and that's what I think we should be doing in football.
Okay, here we go. So that's the official. So you have one half you get Texas, probably is almost guaranteed a semifinal.
Knowing that the SEC
Penn State, I feel like Penn State, Georgia is guaranteed.
The best teams are in the playoff, which I think is most important.
So,
and
bro, they
should have
I'm
any
so mad, bro. They couldn't have at least gave us SMU.
getting in the playoffs,
Like-
out the playoffs, because they all control.
I hope we'll hear that
they all
explain
had
why.
opportunities, and they
At least
had
why
some
everything
flaws,
dropped.
bad
They're
losses,
gonna
but
Connor. We already know why. They're gonna say,
this
"Well,
could be a learning lesson.
Notre Dame's not in the conference, and blah 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 blah." Texas played a competitive game. Penn State played. Man, nobody's trying to do
SMU upsets Penn State. I doubt it. But
Hey, which side of the bracket's loaded? Because I see one side, Texas. I see Oregon. I see Ohio State, Tennessee. The other side, I see Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia. Right? Like,
I see clear evidence that a Michigan athletic director had a say in these rankings.
that's ridiculous. There's no way. Ohio State was always going to be 8 or 9.
I thought that they could jump Penn State.
Also, you know what I gotta love? You gotta love the fact that they put Notre Dame there purposely, knowing that one, we're gonna have to play Indiana. That's gonna diminish our home game because Indiana's used to playing in the cold. Second of all, if we beat Indiana, we gotta go play Georgia. And by the way, it's gonna be a de facto Georgia home game because the game's gonna be in Atlanta. So yeah, just fuck Notre Dame. Yeah.
Notre Dame, you guys travel well, right?
Phil, don't you fucking do this shit, bro.
I mean, we've seen evidence though of Notre Dame versus Georgia. Even Notre Dame fans couldn't fill out their stadium against Georgia that one time Georgia came to Notre Dame. So
That is, and the fact that they're going to let Georgia. By the way,
this is not Georgia. By the way, bro, you guys should beat Georgia. There's going to be Carson Beck is done. You guys should win the game. Don't crash out because I want you guys to be fully behind your team, believe in them.
I think we can beat Georgia.
Win the game.
I'm not saying I don't believe in them to win that game.
Right.
I just am. My frustration is the path. Right,
bro. Listen, I'm a Michigan fan. Last year we had the number 1 seed. The committee screwed over Florida State for Alabama. People were thinking the same way. Yo, why we got to play Alabama in the Rose Bowl? But you know what? We came through and we won the championship. Let me also say this: Notre Dame's gonna smash Indiana. At least you should. Let me say that. Then you should beat Georgia. After that, bro. Boise, Penn State, or SMU, you should win. That means you're in the national championship game. Whereas the biggest threat to Notre Dame's path is Georgia. I will concede that, but they're not the Georgia team of last year or 2 years, 3 years ago.
But
this is a different Georgia team that isn't that good.
Phil, we're playing them in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You realize
I mean, you guys are gonna have to travel. You guys are gonna have to get your bags ready.
Which will Notre Dame fans who just spent $1,000?
It was gonna happen to that was gonna happen to one team anyway. Okay, right. So just because it's you guys doesn't mean that
they basically said Notre Dame has they played USC better. They have the same. Their second best win is the best win that Texas has, but we don't care. We're gonna scrub that because Texas lost to a backup quarterback, and the only good team they faced, they lost to twice.
Join in a few minutes, Ryan.
Which one was absolute? Who is? What'd you say, Connor?
Blake's joining in a few minutes.
Okay. Which, by the way, Texas got absolute belt to ass at home by Georgia, but we'll sit up here and say they are the third best team in the nation. It's so clearly that the SEC and the Big Ten are holding hands. Lord Manuel saw an opportunity to give a bullshit-ass reason to put Penn State and Texas ahead of both Notre Dame and Ohio State when, for let's be honest, Ohio State would have beat the shit out of Penn State. On the road, by the way, had Will Howard things.
I will give credit to the committee, though. I said if they penalized SMU and they didn't penalize those two, I would be even more mad. But they
did penalize SMU.
They didn't penalize them.
They dropped them from 8 to 11.
Yo, SMU might have done the country some good because if SMU wins that game, Alabama's in here, right? So
I'll be honest.
SMU in essence, Clemson in essence eliminated.
Making it with 4 losses, obviously.
Absolutely, Clemson in essence eliminated Alabama.
Unless that opens the gate, because clearly, obviously, Alabama was the first team out. So Clemson loses, Alabama's in, right?
Right.
So
also, what they're trying to avoid here, and what they successfully avoided here, was having having the same conference matchup in the first round.
Yeah, and that's who had a say in that. We know who had a say in that.
Oh my god, bro! For whoever had a say in it, they accomplished that. Well, I don't want to see.
Where is Notre Dame's representative in this? Where is the ACC?
Why do you need a representative?
Frankly, Ryan, my opinion is no team. Honestly, the athletic director or head coaches of any team in college football should not be on this committee. So the fact that you have the Michigan
Big Ten athletic director running the thing. How is that fair?
I know, but what I'm saying, I would feel a lot better about this committee if there wasn't anyone from Michigan or any of these schools directly involved.
Like
total outsiders not involved with college
football.
Let
me ask you this: if an Ohio State,
did you order wings?
If an Ohio State athletic director was the chairman and was deciding where Michigan was ranked, you don't think that he's going to have some sort of bias against where Michigan's put?
I don't think this was a bias against Indy thing. This isn't a
I
Notre
think
Dame
it was a Notre
agenda.
Dame. I think it was a Notre Dame Ohio State thing. Because
why do you think there's bias against Ohio State here? Where's the bias at?
Because they have an argument too. They beat Penn State on the road.
Penn State made the championship game.
Only because Ohio State shit the bed.
Oh, so Ohio State is at fault for where Ohio State is ranked.
These rankings are perfect, except for my
opinion.
I'm so
mad that I'm making fucking arguments for Ohio State.
Bro, in your rankings, you have Ohio State in the exact same place. Chill out, man. This is ridiculous.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. I'm so fucking... yeah, that's how you know I'm pissed. I'm making fucking excuses for Ohio State.
I would make the argument Ohio State should be a 9 seed. They shouldn't have the luxury of playing a home game.
They're valuing the conference championship loss over resume, which is it's baffling.
It should be. Listen, if you made your conference's championship, you should be considered. You're playing an extra football game. This isn't basketball. This isn't an all-star game.
And I mean, and also
people were out there hitting,
trying
to hurt people. Not trying to hurt people. People were getting hurt.
Also, Ryan, this now means that Notre Dame, because of this, they'll have gone a month since they last played their last game because they didn't play in a conference championship, and then you have 3 weeks until this game. So,
I don't know what happened, but I was saying that I think the rankings are perfect, other than I think flip Penn State and Notre Dame. That's the only thing.
Shit, you know what? We might as well join the Big Ten then if you can lose the Big Ten title and still not drop. Like, fuck it. Why not?
I mean, I'm a big believer we should be in the Big Ten or the ACC.
This is just bullshit, dude. You get to play weaker competition and you get treated better because you play in a weak-ass title game.
I do think Notre Dame's independence is – thank you. It's great to see for college football. I don't know why it's hated so much, especially in the new playoff era when if we win the Natty, we play the same amount of games anyway because we're not getting that bye week. So now we have to play first round. It balances out, right? So I don't get the independence hate, especially when in consistent years, we usually have a top 20 strength of schedule, except for this year. It was a trophy.
But Sean, what's bothering me here is if this was the 14 playoff, Notre Dame would be fine. Because I guarantee you if it was a 14 format, they're not moving Georgia they might move Georgia, but they're not moving Texas out of Notre Dame at all. There is no way in hell they're moving a 2-loss.
If Notre Dame was left out 11-1 to 14 playoff, could you imagine? I mean, hey, I'm excited. We play Indiana first round.
Can we fix the format? Can we get rid of the auto bid buys, please? Can we do the 12 best teams? If you win your conference, you get a spot. You don't get a bye week. That would fix this. That way Notre Dame would get a top 4 seed. I mean, that fixes the problem right there.
Why should Notre Dame be seriously? Why should Notre Dame be awarded a bye week when they're already going to have played one less game than a conference champion?
It's annoying because Phil, they told us last week you are the number 4 team. You are the 4th best team in the nation,
right?
And so what's changed? Where all of a sudden
what's changed is people played another game. We saw this in the BCS era, right? People could be 3-0, right? Have a bye week after that 3-0. Then the next team is 4-0. They jump that team at least for that week because they played an extra game. You can't be rewarded for playing less football than other teams.
Well, I'm not saying rewarded, but if you can be rewarded by playing an extra game, why can't you be?
Every team that is ahead of you right now played an extra football game. Every one of them.
But
so you think Boise State should get a bye week out of Notre Dame because they
yes, 100%.
Why
should Notre Dame leapfrog Boise State for a bye week?
Because we would put belt to ass if we played Boise State and everybody.
What are you, the SEC with this hypothetical
shit?
Ryan, stop. They won their conference. They get a bye week. That's just how it is. All right.
But what
Dude,
I am actually ecstatic that the SEC didn't get another team in here. This is great.
I am too, but I'm mad because Phil, think about it.
Oh wait, here we go. Notre Dame's got the night game on the 20th. Wow.
Oh, the what those
Yeah, they put us as they basically said we're the worst fucking game. No wonder.
Where's that?
Not even.
It is.
I don't think so.
Hey, man.
I think Notre Dame, Indiana is better than Penn State, SMU.
They announced it on the show.
That's fair.
Oh, they did?
8 p.m. Eastern, December 20th on Friday.
Fucking make us play on a Friday night, too. That's great. Fuck you, fucking ESPN.
The Friday night. Okay, Ohio State, Tennessee, I understand that being the night game. I totally get that as the Saturday night game. That's totally fine.
No! They changed it. It is not in the Peach Bowl. Notre Dame, Georgia would be in the Sugar Bowl. Boise would be in the Fiesta. Oregon would be in the Rose.
I like it.
Arizona State would be in the Peach Bowl.
So where are we playing Georgia then? Where's the Sugar Bowl?
In Texas, in the Sugar Bowl.
That's
basically a Georgia home game.
Oh my God, bro!
What?
You gotta chill.
Do you know how many fans we got in Texas, man?
What the fuck are you talking about? That's all the way. That's literally at AT&T Stadium.
Oh no, Sugar Bowl is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, sorry.
Georgia is closer.
You're right. Sorry, I'm getting that mixed up. I apologize. Which one? So wait, where's the Fiesta then?
The Cotton Bowl is in Texas.
Is Georgia not closer?
Thank you. I'm sorry. My bad. I apologize. I'm sorry about that.
Is Georgia not geographically closer to Louisiana than Notre Dame?
Geographically,
I do have
Indiana is closer to Texas than
hell. I mean,
but the game is in
Oregon's
Louisiana.
playing in the Rose Bowl. That's a close game for them. That's a de facto home game as well.
Hey,
so, like,
they deserve that.
How will Notre Dame fans do with this? I got a serious question. Do you think Notre Dame fans are going to want to hold on, Ryan, hold on. Do you think Notre Dame fans are going to want to pay $400, $500 for a bowl game against Georgia when they're about to play $800 to $1,000 or whatever for a home playoff game?
No.
That's the tough thing.
So listen to me. Listen and listen good. Don't go to that game against Indiana. I'm talking to you, Notre Dame fans. Don't go to that game if you need to penny pinch to go to the other game, because you should beat Indiana. With an empty stadium, with a stadium full of Indiana fans, you should win that game.
How bad would it look though in a Notre Dame stadium?
It's gonna look horrible. It's gonna look horrible. But are you going for looks or natties?
Hey,
you let me know, and then we can.
I want Notre Dame to wear green. Notre Dame to wear green against Indiana red for Christmas.
There you go.
Has Notre Dame ever played a Friday night game? Because that's gonna fuck everything up.
I have never seen that.
Well, it's not, Ryan. It's not going to matter because you will have been on a bye, or you would have not played a game in 3 weeks.
Connor, do you realize you're a Virginia Tech fan? You realize how weird Friday night games get?
Thursday night? No, we play Thursday night games. That's our
Friday night games get fucking weird. Indiana,
but at the same time, you haven't played a game in 2 weeks. You now have another 2 weeks to play a game. To not play again. So you have not played in 4 weeks. Meanwhile, Georgia has also gone pretty much a month without playing games.
We are in a lose-lose situation here. We beat Indiana, nobody's going to respect it.
I think you should. That would be a Notre Dame playoff win against the Power 4 team, regardless of what you think. Am I wrong, guys? I mean, they beat a Big Ten team in the playoffs.
highly ranked Big Ten team.
Hey, I mean
the elite program that is Indiana.
Hey.
Hey, did you see UNLV? Isn't like their head coach leaving or something, Phil?
Yeah, they are. He is going to Purdue.
Purdue, you're right.
Well, you know what?
Oh, he's going to be Purdue's head coach. Interesting.
Yeah. Because
I wouldn't leave UNLV to go to Purdue. Let me say that.
That's a step down. Honestly, with how this season went, that is a step down.
I'm not leaving Vegas to go to Purdue, Indiana.
UNLV is an elite program. Purdue is not.
Here's my thing. This is how I think this whole thing plays out. Notre Dame will beat Indiana. Hope to
Wait. Here's
Hold on.
If Carson Beck is hurt, what's your opinion? That's
Hold
all I
on.
want to hear.
Hold on. I'm going through this. Notre
Right.
Dame beats Indiana, or at least I hope. I pray to God in baby Jesus' name that we beat Indiana, because we will be laughed at hysterically if we lose.
Oh, you better beat Indiana. I will say that.
guys, the guy's up. He's talking about Alabama SMU.
All right, let's do it.
And
He's being asked about it. Let's see what he says.
If Notre Dame was Penn State's spot, Alabama would be in.
Can you hear my phone?
Reese, good to be
No.
with you again. And
Oh, here we go.
your debate on television really sums up the debate in the room. We looked at the number of wins that Alabama had against ranked opponents. We looked at SMU's schedule, and they were undefeated in conference. Their losses were to ranked teams. But we also looked at Alabama's loss to unranked teams. And it was quite a debate. I mean, we value strength of schedule. That's why Alabama, as a 3-loss team, is ranked ahead of other teams that have 2 losses. It is something that we talk about quite a bit. But in the balance of it, in the way SMU played in that game, losing on the last-second field goal, great win by Clemson, great game. We just felt that in this particular case, SMU still had the nod at 10 above Alabama. But it's no disrespect to Alabama's strength of schedule. It's merely looking at the entire body of work for both teams.
It's human nature,
Okay.
Ward, to focus.
Did you hear that at all, or no?
Yes, but he's still talking.
In Indiana. I know the way the committee goes about ordering and ranking these teams once you get to the various steps. You often wind up with 3 teams. Did Indiana ever come under the same type of scrutiny that SMU and Alabama did relative to each other, relative to those 3 teams?
Absolutely. We did that the week prior. We did it this week. We talked about where teams are and looked at their schedule again, looked at who they played, who they beat, how they played in those games in terms of their schedule and their strength of schedule. All of those things were discussed quite heavily, actually, in the grouping of those teams as you look at them and how they came out to be ranked.
How would you characterize tonight? You guys often get a chance to watch games together. As Clemson built a big lead, did you sense anything shifting in terms of the perception of SMU early in that game, as opposed to when the Ponies made the big rally and came very close to being able to pull it out?
Well, I think, we all recognize that Clemson really started off strong in that game, and SMU was having difficulty in the first half of the game. But as we watched the whole game, we were impressed with the fact that SMU came back the way that they did. They performed very well defensively, had shut Clemson down. They performed better in the second half offensively as they had done all year. And so for us, we absolutely saw the difference between the first half of that game and the second half.
Yeah, let's look at a couple of other things with the bracket, Ward. It's something that we pointed out for quite some time. We talked about how advantageous it might be to be the 5 seed, but as it turns out, the way things have fallen, it might be the 6 seed instead that is deemed more advantageous. Oregon's the only undefeated team in the country. You guys have deemed them the best team in this playoff. They are the Big Ten champions, and they just beat Penn State. And then when you look at their quarterfinal game against either Ohio State or Tennessee, it might be that the Ducks have a more disadvantageous road than the 6th seed Penn State does in taking on an SMU team that barely made it in, and Boise State, who is not quite as highly ranked. How do you evaluate that, and what's your suggestion for moving forward with the committee and taking care of the teams that are deemed to be the best, like Oregon?
Yeah, Reese. I mean, we rank the teams 1 through 25. That's what we've been asked to do. We don't discuss, well, if we put this team at 1 and we move this team's 8 or 9, and they're going to be playing each other, and we need to go back and reconsider how we feel about them at the top 20. We've been asked as a committee
Blake.
to rank.
What up, Blake?
What's up, boys?
My last notes before I go, I got to head out. Good talking, but like I said, I think the rankings are pretty perfect. I do think it should be Notre Dame above Penn State. But at the end of the day, who would have thought after the Northern Illinois game, Notre Dame would be hosting a playoff game, right?
That's fair. That is
I
very
am
true.
mad about the Penn State ranking, like we talked about, but I am not mad about it because I told y'all as we first started, it wouldn't frustrate me as much if they don't punish SMU. They didn't punish SMU. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the ranking. Notre Dame has an easy path to win their first ever playoff game. So Georgia will be tough. It all depends on Beck having 3 weeks to a month to heal. Maybe he'll be okay for the game, right? We never know. But, I think it's good ranking.
It's actually 2 weeks because it's not next weekend. It's the weekend after that, right? It's the weekend before.
They play January 1st. Notre Dame, Georgia would play January.
I don't know why. I thought the games were like the weekend before Christmas.
Dang, so they got us. They screw us over with the 7th seed. And
the first round is. He's talking about.
And they give Georgia all that time. Okay.
Oh, the first. Oh, right. You're right. So the first round is that weekend before Christmas. Got it.
But next week, so we'll get ready. We're gonna go beat Indiana. I'll join another episode before the playoffs when we talk about and go down the games.
Appreciate you being on, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, bro. See you on the gold standard.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who inspired us to start the Week Zero podcast. His podcast, The Harris Highlights Show, is what brought Ryan, me, Lucas, and another guy, Coster, together. Coster is no longer with us. Josh took his spot. Welcome, Blake Harris, also writer for Dodger Blue for SB Nation as well, living in LA, living at large. Congrats on the Dodgers win, obviously, title win. But what are your thoughts with these rankings? Obviously, Ryan is crashing out hard about Notre Dame, but what are your thoughts, Blake?
My biggest complaint is that Arizona State's not number one. They should have been the 1 seed.
What are you doing? Let you guys know, he went to Arizona State. That is where the Harris Highlight Show started with him and some of his high school and college buddies. So that's where they went. Obviously, we all thought Arizona State was going to be the worst team in the conference, and they make playoffs. So what do we know?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I didn't think they were going to be going bowling this year. So I'm just as in disbelief as everyone else. But my quick thoughts are this is exactly how I thought the rankings would look. I did a video yesterday and it was almost spot on. I'm sorry, Ryan, about Notre Dame. I thought 7 was the right spot for them just because I feel like you can't hurt teams for losing in their conference title game. Now, are they the 7th best team? I think they're better than that 7 indicates, but it was a tough spot if you keep them there for not playing, where you'd have Texas and Penn State falling for, again, playing in a conference title. So overall, though, I mean, playing Indiana, Ryan, I think you guys got the easiest first-round matchup by far. I mean, the weird thing I thought was I get Indiana had only 1 loss this year, but I thought it was crazy how the entire discussion this entire time has been on SMU and Alabama, like who's going to get the final seed. If we take wins and losses out of the equation and we just look at the team and what the resume is on the year, like Indiana, I don't have their schedule in front of me. I don't know what their best win is. Would it be against Michigan? I mean, I see.
I think it would be Michigan
in the background there, so maybe
you would
Michigan. Yeah. So, I think Notre Dame getting Indiana in the first round is not an automatic win because obviously anything can happen, but that's a generous first round matchup. Now, having to play Georgia in the second round, I think that's where you guys do get screwed. That's an absolutely brutal second round matchup where, I mean, I'm looking at Oregon. The fact that Oregon goes undefeated, gets the 1 seed, and their quarterfinal matchup is Tennessee, Ohio State.
That's
brutal.
Do you think they need to make it to where it reseeds after the first round going forward? Make it more fair for those teams that do win their conference, like Oregon, or given maybe teams like Arizona State or Boise.
I don't like the reseeding. I don't like the reseeding because look, here's the thing: if the seeds play out right, if the seeds play out the way that they're supposed to in the first round, I mean, who's a better matchup for Oregon? I mean, Penn State obviously is the obvious answer, but I'm saying, but Penn State was in that game last night. It got away from them a couple times and they clawed right back in it both times. Notre Dame, they don't want to see Notre Dame in that round. They don't want to see Ohio State. They don't want to see Texas or really Penn State again in that round. Penn State is the weaker of the choices, but if the seeds play out, the one seed's going to, play somebody that's tough, just like the 4, 3, and 2 are. These are tough teams now.
Yeah, if
it reseeded, it would be like the NFL where it's the highest seed plays the lowest seed, obviously. So
yeah.
My only pushback on the whole thing like was
Oregon should Oregon should be rewarded for their season, right? Being the number 1 team, being the only undefeated team in college football left. And if Clemson beats Texas, they get Clemson.
Arizona State's playing the number 12.
Indiana somehow magically pulls off an upset in Notre Dame.
Don't you put that in the air. Don't you put that in the air.
They get Notre Dame. They get SMU beat Penn State. They get SMU, right? Getting a rematch of Ohio State, possibly Ohio State, Oregon in the second round, while it's a great game, I feel like that should be like a semifinal game. Like, I feel like that would be better as a semifinal game than as a quarterfinal game. You know what I mean?
So my only pushback on the Notre Dame Penn State thing is I don't have as much an issue with Penn State, even though I do think Notre Dame's better than both Texas and Penn State. If you go off the resume, Texas has no top 25 wins. They lost to the only top 25 team they played twice. Once was a blowout at their place, and the other one they lost to a backup quarterback. Penn State, maybe because they have the best 2 losses in football right now. But I go back to, I think Notre Dame was better than Penn State the last few weeks. I mean, if you just look at the common opponents, I think Notre Dame played a better USC team. It is kind of nitpicking, but I mean, we never trailed. Penn State did. But I mean, I just think that it is, and I get it, it's a conference championship thing, but it's the annoying part is that we were told last week, you're the 4th best team in the nation. And in a week, our team didn't magically get worse. And we dropped from 4 to 7, and we have a harder path than the teams that lost in the conference title games.
Well, Ryan, I think you guys technically are still ranked 5th. So technically in the rankings, you only dropped 1 spot. But the 2 teams that were ahead of you, which was Texas and Penn State, right? They lose their conference championships, and they just drop down 1. Right?
You can't be rewarded.
And of course, then that's where it comes. Georgia or Boise. Georgia and Arizona State were below you guys, and they jumped you guys for winning the conference championships. That's where that drop comes from, right? They're not gonna drop unless Texas and Penn State had gotten blown out, right? They weren't gonna drop them more than a spot or 2 for losing a conference championship by a very close margin, right?
I just think it's the resume.
SMU.
It's the resume.
SMU dropped 2 spots for losing their conference championship because they came back, they clawed back and made that a close game, right? Okay, Blake. Talk about Arizona State. What are your thoughts being at the 4 spot, and then obviously that would be a tough matchup again. Probably either Texas or Clemson. Clemson's obviously been kind of more up and down. Texas, we're all kind of all over the place. We're not exactly sure what to think. So, what are your thoughts on that possible matchup?
Yeah, one quick thing I want to say about this. Like, I get with the reseeding thing. I get how, like, again, it would be unfair, like how ASU could get like the number 12 seed Clemson. I think if the committee is going to do something moving forward, they should go away with, if you win your conference, you essentially get an automatic bye. I think it should just be like March Madness style. If you win your conference, you just get an automatic bid. Because again, I love having the bye, but Arizona State should not be the 4th seed getting a bye over again a team like Texas. And I was saying this yesterday because my girlfriend, she's an Oregon alum. The fact that ASU could have had a bye, and if Oregon would have lost by 1 point yesterday to Penn State, like, you could be undefeated all year, lose your conference title game, you don't get a bye. So if they were to make any change moving forward, I think it should be that, because again, or even Clemson, like, if there could have been a crazy scenario where, let's say, Tulane was still in the mix and if Boise State would have lost, like, Clemson could have been like the 16 seed and they could have gotten a bye in some crazy scenario. So, like, I get it, you're rewarding by winning the conference, but get the
that kind of played out a little bit with Clemson real quick. Is they won their conference and they're still the lowest seed, right? Because they already have those. Obviously, they have 3 losses. That's already kind of like March Madness-esque, where they're still being punished a little bit because of how
Right.
the rest of their season went. Right?
Yeah.
They won their conference, they get that bid, but they're not getting the automatic bye. Right? If they had been above you guys at Arizona State or Boise, then I think people would have been really pissed because
I think the teams getting a bye for winning their conference championship works in this way, Blake, and pleasure meeting you for the first time.
You too, my man.
I heard things, but about you, but never had the pleasure of meeting you. That said, this is where it works: is in the situation where you have, let's say, it was that year where Georgia and Alabama played each other at the end, or forget that, because this happens all the time with Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan and Ohio State go into that game, 1-4 or whatever, right? Into the regular season game 1-4. Whoever wins it, but then they go right back the next week, play a conference championship game. The team theoretically that won the regular season game could say, I mean, it's no reason for if they don't have this incentive to win the championship game, could say, we already beat them, it doesn't matter, right? But now if we win, there is incentive because we get a bye week, and we don't want them to get the bye week. So we would obviously, a bye week is a great thing. We don't have to play, another round of this playoff or whatever, right? So I think that's where the incentive for winning your conference championship matters.
Oh yeah,
I do think that this, and I don't think a lot of people thought of this when this format first came out. I think looking back at it now and looking how this played out, I think this played out perfectly for the SEC and the Big Ten because it's a win-win. Their winners get a bye week and a top 2 seed, and the loser of the conference championship game get gifted with the easiest path to the national championship.
Yeah.
Which again, I think going forward that needs to change because I don't think the ACC, the Big 12, Group of 5, Notre Dame, these other people that have says in this are going to like that because the fact that SMU was on the verge of being knocked out and they had either bye week or getting knocked out. There was no in between. But at Penn State and at Texas, which by the way, Texas has a similar strength of schedule, similar resume to SMU. Difference being they had the SEC on their shoulder. I think you can't continue with this because you're rewarding mainly the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how the 14 team that they want to expand it to in 2-3 years time, how that's going to work. I'm trying to think how the hell that's going to work.
I think it would be the top 6 would get buys, right? And then, or I don't know. I mean, I would say ASU, man. Matt's not my specialty. Figuring out brackets is tough, but I'm with you. I don't know how a 14 team would work, or would it be like the top? Boys, too common. Someone else can figure that out for us.
Blake, you didn't. You weren't able to really talk about Arizona State because we kept interrupting you. What's your thoughts on that?
I'll say this before.
And just the season in general for you guys. Just talk about that as well.
Yeah, so with Arizona State, I mean, Kenny Dillingham said it yesterday as well. He said it numerous times. One of Arizona State's 2 losses came against Cincinnati. It was a terrible loss, but that was a game they didn't have quarterback Sam Leavitt. They had to start good old Jeff Sims. Now, if there's any college football fan in here, you would know that going into that game, ASU had no chance.
Georgia Tech legend Jeff Sims.
Yeah, no. So if you throw that game out of the way, this is an 11-1 Arizona State team that had numerous top 25 victories during the year. Kansas State should be a top 25 team. I don't think the committee had them ranked in there. They should be top 25. BYU was a top 10 team essentially until ASU had to play them. And obviously Iowa State, they were on the verge of the playoffs. So they have a really good resume. They've been dominating the last month. Obviously, Cam Scadaboo, if anyone watched that game yesterday, he is insane. I mean, he's a
Heisman finalist. He'll be one of the 4.
He definitely shouldn't win. He should be a Heisman finalist. I said yesterday, I think he's the second best running back in college football behind Ashton Genty. I know that rushing yards wise, I think he finished the season 4th, but he's the first running back. I don't know if you guys might not have seen this tweet, so I'll make this like a trivia question for you guys. He's the first running back to have 1,500 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards in a season since who?
McCaffrey.
Oh, well, you guys are. I guess you guys probably know that's not as fun, but yeah.
Well, we know our college football. It's going to be McCaffrey.
So he's the first running back since McCaffrey. I think it was 2015, so 9 years ago to have those numbers. I mean, he put the team on his back. He was phenomenal this season. And Sam Levitt, I mean, this dude, he's a freshman quarterback, one of the more underrated quarterbacks in college football. He's a great dual threat quarterback. He looks the part. Like, he looks like the real deal. Losing Jordan Tyson is an absolute massive blow. He was a top 3 to 4 wide receiver in the Big 12 this year. I think had like 1,200 yards. He's out for the season. So that's going to be tough. I don't know how ASU is going to fare through the year. But then again,
they're releasing the rest of the top 25 right now.
What's up?
They're showing the rest of the top 25 right now.
Maybe those teams will be in there. But, I mean, Arizona State offensively
UNLV is still an elite program. They're number 24 for you, Phil. There you go.
See, I'm upset about that. I was hoping UNLV would fall out so that I could just back my ASU propaganda more. That Boise State would still not have a top 25 win. But I knew the committee would come in. But Arizona, like, again, I don't think Arizona State is the 4th best team in college football right now. I think they're probably deserving of being like 9 or 10, but I'll take the first round bye. But I definitely think that they are a team that is capable of beating Clemson or Texas in that first round matchup. Now, if they get to Oregon in the semis, that's a different story. We'll see if they can get there. But I definitely think ASU has what it takes to at least win one game in the quarters and move on to the next round.
How fitting, though, that Pac-12 has died, but then 2 of its former members win both the Big 12 and the Big 10 this year. It's just fitting.
One of the Big 12 teams brought that up. Coaches brought that up.
The Pac-12 was known for cannibalizing itself and screwing itself over in the playoffs. And they're like, we're just going to screw over these other conferences now. Congrats, guys. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the wins. Man. It makes me cry. That conference would have been so good this year.
You guys always back to back.
I will say this, and I kind of want to get your take on this, Blake, before you go. One, Arizona State is the hottest team in college football. I don't care what anybody says. I was saying this in our group chat. I was like, even as a Notre Dame fan, I don't want to play Arizona State. Even if we were hosting, I don't want to play. I don't think anybody wants to play Arizona State right now because nobody's proven they can stop Scatterbo in that rushing attack at all. But going forward, you see the bracket, it's finalized. Who do you like winning the national championship or facing off in the national championship?
Yeah, I'll just do this quickly before I go. I'll just do a quick rundown through the bracket. I like Clemson taking down Texas in the first round. I know that's a massive upset. I think they're like a 14-point underdog. I like Clemson. It's like March Madness when there's like that play-in game. There's like a team that shouldn't make it. Like Clemson should not be here. They're just riding hot. And Texas, again, they don't have a top 25 win this year. Like I know they're the SEC. They played Georgia close, kind of. We haven't seen Texas really prove it to show that they're worthy of being a top 5 team. So I'll go Clemson. I'm going to go Ohio State. I'll go Penn State. I'll go Notre Dame. And then I'm going to write Arizona State. I'll take them to the semis. I'll take Oregon to the semis. And then I'll take Penn State to the semis. Georgia, Notre Dame. If Carson Beck is not playing, I like Notre Dame regardless. But if Carson Beck is out, I like Notre Dame big. But I like Notre Dame slightly if they have Carson Beck. So I'm going to take Oregon in the semis. I'm going to take – who do I have then? Penn State, Notre Dame. Ooh.
2 teams that match up perfectly. They're
that's a good game. That's who. I'm going to go Penn State just because Drew Aller looked the best I've ever seen him look yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been out on Drew Aller for years.
In the game, that was a stupid-ass play.
Yeah. If Drew Aller can play like that, I think they can take down. But again, I think Penn State, Notre Dame, like, the spread in that game would be like 1.5. Like that would be essentially a pick 'em. And then I'm going to go with Oregon over Penn State in my national championship. A rematch of what we saw last night, but things are going to change. When I fill out my bracket, I'm probably going to have Arizona State winning the whole thing. But
what you got to do is you got to do just like March Madness. You got to do brackets. You got to do one serious. You got to do a second one where you're just like fantasy. I'm just going to take Arizona State to win it automatically.
Right. I'll do that. So Oregon over Penn State. That's my prediction right now. But again, if I'm actually doing this, I'm going to have Arizona State winning the whole damn thing because ride the momentum, boys. Ride the momentum.
There you go.
Who was that good old Arizona State punter that we used to use?
Zane Gonzalez, Zane for Heisman.
The Fighting Zane Gonzalez.
Fighting Zane Gonzalez.
Yes.
But
Fighting Zane
if Arizona
Gonzalez.
State wins, I'll be hopping back on this so I can hype up my team even more. Boys.
No. You gotta
man.
hop on. You gotta hop on for the quarterfinals before that, so you can give us your thoughts on that matchup. We definitely want to hear that. So let us know.
I just got the text from my girlfriend saying I'm home with the groceries. Can you come help? So that's my cue. But it was great hopping on, boys. It was
Perfect
great
timing,
my man.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to hopefully we get some good games, and hopefully again my Arizona State Sun Devils can ride this to the championship and be our national champions.
Yes,
not gonna happen, but
we
we
appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, boys.
Make sure you subscribe to the Harris Highlights on YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel as well. There are 450 of you watching. That is incredible. Obviously, we're still talking about this. They're just releasing the rest of the top 25 right now. There's really no surprise there.
While we're waiting, why don't we each go give our our thoughts on this bracket, how we think it plays out?
Okay, I'll do mine. I kind of am with Blake. I kind of was with Clemson, Texas. I think that's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a less than a double-digit spread. Well, actually, no. I mean, Blake said it's like 14, but I wouldn't be surprised if that drops down to below 10 by the time the game's played. Let me. I want to take Clemson as well. I kind of do. I kind of want to take Clemson because Quinn Ewers has just not looked good at all this season, and I think he's going to be the reason that's going to cost Texas a chance at a title because he's just been way too mistake prone. So yeah, give me Clemson. I'll go with that. I'll take Ohio State. I think obviously that's the best game of these opening matchups. I think Tennessee will give them a scare, but I think Ohio State's offensively too good. Unless they decide to do what they did against Michigan, just try to run the ball up the middle 50 times and it doesn't work. Yeah, give me Penn State and give me Notre Dame. I think it's all going to be. I think that's chalk for me going with.
You guys really think Notre Dame's going to beat Georgia?
No, I think if Carson Beck is healthy, I think Georgia wins. So I'll take. For now, I'm going to assume he's playing. So I'll take Georgia. Boise, Penn State. I kind of want to take Boise, honestly. I want to see Ashton Genty break that record. Obviously, he's going to get at least one more game to try and break the Barry Sanders record. So give me Boise. Oregon, Ohio State. Give me Oregon. Arizona State, Clemson. Yeah, I'll take Arizona State. Like he said, I think it's hot hand. And I'll take Oregon over Arizona State in the semis. And then I have Boise, Georgia. I'll take Georgia. So I do think it is in Oregon, Georgia, 1-2. And I'll take Oregon. But I do think we could see some upsets. I know it's kind of chalk a little bit towards the end there, but I do. It's a little harder when it comes to. There's not as many upsets compared to like March Madness, so it's a little harder to pick chalk or not pick chalk.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I think Texas takes care of business against Clemson. I have the other state beating Tennessee, Penn State over SMU, Notre Dame over Indiana. Then give me Notre Dame over Georgia, Penn State over Boise, Oregon over the other state, Texas over ASU, Texas over Oregon, Notre Dame over Penn State, Texas, Notre Dame national championship. Give me Texas.
Phil is just jinxing this shit, man.
I like it. I think that would piss off Ryan even more to lose to Texas in the championship.
This is how I go. You either win 2 games and you're done, or you win the whole damn thing. No in between. I will not be satisfied. Do you realize how painful it would be for me to not see Notre Dame win a national title my entire life? Watch them in this playoff get to the national title and lose. So I'm taking Clemson over Texas as well. I think Cade Klubnik is playing his best football yet. I'm not bought into Texas until they start Arch Manning. They're just not. I don't think they're a very good team. Give me Tennessee in an upset of the other state.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ohio State is broken right now. Michigan broke them. Give me Penn State to beat SMU in a close one. Give me Notre Dame against Indiana. Then give me Arizona State, the Sun Devils in the semifinals. Give me Oregon against Tennessee. Penn State over Boise. Give me Georgia over Notre Dame.
Wait, Ryan, before you continue, is that assuming Carson Beck starts?
Doesn't matter. I'm not in the right headspace right now.
Okay, that's fair.
Give me I think Penn State takes down Georgia. Give me Arizona State and the upset of Oregon.
Wow.
And this is going to shock a lot of people.
Penn State over Georgia?
Penn State wins the national championship over Arizona State.
I like
Shut
it.
down the internet.
I like it. James Franklin finally doesn't James Franklin it.
The internet just broke.
Oh my god.
What do you think actually, Phil, what would happen if Penn State won the national championship?
If Penn State won the national championship, first of all, that would everything bad I've ever said about James Franklin out the window. Everything ever. We should wipe the internet of negativity of James Franklin. That's what should happen. There should be no criticism of James Franklin moving forward.
No, it's like you are no. Exactly. No, it's like the rule of like you can never say anything bad about James Franklin ever again.
Exactly, that's a rule.
You go on Twitter and look up.
You should go to prison for saying negativity about James Franklin.
No, you load up Twitter, you go and search mean tweets about James Franklin, and it's just like the name's redacted with the line through it. Like
exactly.
It's
No. It's like Phil. No, it's Phil. Like the secret police come and arrest Phil for saying negative things about because of all the negative things about James Franklin before he won.
We just stop calling people Diet James Franklin and instead just call him Diet Brian Kelly's. Like,
right, Brian Kelly or Ryan Day.
Diet Ryan Days. Diet Ryan Days.
Nah, bro, James Franklin national champion, never.
Bro, James Franklin is not.
If we somehow got Penn State in the championship, good lord, that'd be incredible.
There would be there's no talking to. First of all, no, it can't happen. It just can't happen.
Is that just like a law of the world? Is that just like a universal law that James Franklin is not allowed to be good or win anything?
It cannot happen. 18-month prison sentence to anybody who talks about James Franklin if they win the national championship.
But you know what, Phil? But because I know you had Notre Dame in your national championship.
Yeah.
If that happens, the other state is going to come calling for Marcus Freeman, right?
Yeah, I think Kinetic already put that in the chat. He wanted to know how you felt about that because
we haven't extended him yet, and he's up for an extension.
Yeah, so if he wins the Natty, I think he takes that call. He takes that call from Ohio State. Yeah.
Damn it! And then it would be a loser.
Wait. So if who wins what, then they're gone.
He said if Marcus Freeman makes the national championship or wins it, he's going to take the Ohio State job.
Oh yeah. Because that would mean that the other state probably didn't make it, and Ryan Day's ass is on the chopping block. Which it
and also
I could definitely see that, honestly.
The fact, but the fact if that happens, like, dude, I don't even want to think about Notre Dame national championship, man. I'm sick right now. I was thinking we were going to have a cakewalk to the semis. We were going to get to play Arizona State, Boise, Clemson, SMU.
Bro, I still think Georgia's a cakewalk. You see, they're not. I don't know. I could be wrong, but Georgia just doesn't seem like the team that they've been, right? And that they would be playing.
I guess the Georgia Tech game the Georgia Tech game gives me confidence.
Yeah.
And the fact that teams have been able to run on Georgia.
Right.
And that's our game. So
yeah.
I guess
guys, I gotta run though.
I think that's perfect timing. We gotta go. We've been on for an hour and a half. All 453 of you, you crazy son of a guns, liking, watching
listening
us,
to our dumbass
watching
takes.
us idiots. Yeah, our stupid takes, or really all of Ryan's bad takes. Me and Phil are the right.
I didn't have Notre Dame.
Why is the bottom box always cut off in this view, bro?
Here, you know what? There you go.
There we go.
There we go. Maze Madman. There we go. But anyway, make sure, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We need to make sure we actually be doing more videos and stuff. Yeah, we're all trying to get tonight. All of you, if all of you subscribed, you'd actually get. If all of you subscribed, you get us close to like 900, close to 1,000. So please like and subscribe to Week Zero Productions on YouTube for Ryan playoffs. Huh?
Carry the one.
I think we're at 475, so this would take us to like 920 something. 9 something.
Yeah.
So
we
anyway,
don't play school.
For Ryan playoffs, Fravel, who is still pissed at about Notre Dame and will continue to be pissed. For Maze Madman, Phil.
Go Blue.
Who is going to enjoy watching the downfall of Ohio State if they lose to Tennessee.
Such a glorious thing.
I know it is. And for me, who has no rooting interest because my team sucks and is just waiting for my team to be announced as playing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Hey, you guys did get Deloach. He flipped.
Huh?
Deloach flipped to Virginia Tech.
Yes, that was actually a big deal. We got a 4-star corner for 2025, so that's gonna be nice. Anyway, so of course,
Josh is late.
Josh, we're about to end.
You guys are about to end.
Josh, we were literally about to just end. But what's your thoughts about it, real quick? Or actually, okay. Phil, you can actually go, and we can have Josh fill.
I'm out of here.
Okay, we'll see you later. Okay, Josh.
All right,
welcome.
Show me what we're looking at.
I was not too happy. I got it. I was not too happy about it, Josh.
We were literally just about to end it, Josh, and you just joined at the right time.
All right, all right, guys. Sorry about being late.
Is this the first time you've seen the bracket? You hadn't seen it?
I haven't seen the bracket yet, so this is the first time I've seen it so far. Okay. Clemson,
perfect.
Texas.
Initial thoughts right away. Give us your initial thoughts right away.
Ohio State getting home games bullshit.
I think
Indiana's gonna be a nice bye week for Notre Dame.
Don't you put that in the fucking air, Josh. I swear to God. I will fucking kill you.
Indiana's gonna be a nice bye week for Notre Dame. What else? SMU in there. I guess. Let's not punish them too bad for losing their conference championship.
Josh, you should see all the Alabama fans. They are.
Dude, Alabama fans can suck it. They lost 3 games.
Dude, they should lose their minds on Twitter. I haven't been paying attention. I need to look on Twitter. I'm sure there's.
Wait, Josh, did you see? You should have seen what Nick Saban said. Nick Saban was talking
Nick
about.
Saban's a clown.
No. He said after it was real that Alabama got left out. He said, "quote Maybe they'll learn. The committee will learn from their mistakes after this year, and actually focus on strength of schedule and give teams that actually play legit competition." Like he was doing that whole rabbit hole.
Maybe Alabama should lose to a 6-6 Vandy or 6-6 Oklahoma. Then maybe they shouldn't lose those games.
Right? Maybe Alabama shouldn't get blown out by Oklahoma and lose at Vanderbilt. Just saying.
Now, I will say Vanderbilt.
No, Josh, he gave the whole. Still, we're taking away opportunities from kids that deserve.
They lost. Oh my God!
Playoff and we didn't make it.
Oh, you know what? They lost 3 games.
I know.
You want to go to the playoffs? Beat Oklahoma. Beat Vanderbilt.
Hey, Clemson can say they lost 3 games and made it. They won their conference, so screw Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama wins their conference. They That's something that I'm tired about. And I actually will agree with you guys on the whole SEC bias thing. It's really just brand bias towards Alabama, towards Ohio State, towards
Texas,
Texas, Georgia, Notre Dame. It's just brand bias.
That's
okay.
Why else make Oregon have to play Ohio State in the second round? But then Texas gets a super easy possible path to the semifinals, along with Penn State.
Dude, they want Texas to be back so bad.
Oh, they want Texas in the semifinals / championship so bad. That's why we had Blake on. We just had Blake on. A few minutes.
I totally missed him. I feel bad.
Hey, you know what's crazy, Josh? Is
both me and Blake have taken Clemson. We are taking Clemson.
I took Clemson too.
We all took Clemson.
James Franklin, by the way. Yeah, James Franklin, by the way, Josh, could potentially get his first win against a top 10 team, and it would be Boise State. Think about that.
Let's look at like James Franklin.
Also, Josh,
of all these teams, Penn State has the easiest route to the semifinals.
Yep.
Of all these teams. And then you've got Texas with ranking-wise the second easiest, but I don't think they match up very well against Arizona State.
I think Scatterboo could run all over them because, Georgia was running pretty good against Texas.
Now, Texas has a really stout defense. So the Clemson-Texas game, that could be low scoring. Whoever gets the most turnovers and whoever is able to whoever gets more scoring opportunities go win that game. As much as I hate both of those teams, I hate Tennessee. I just want to see Tennessee beat the crap out of Ohio State because Ryan Day is a bitch.
Okay. Give us your predictions right away. Give us your initial predictions.
And then we'll tell you ours. All
right. Okay.
Let you know real quick. I have Oregon, Georgia with Georgia winning. Oregon winning. Ryan, who do you have? What was your matchup again?
I have Penn State, Arizona State in the national championship.
With Penn State winning.
Damn. Okay. All right. So here it goes. I've got Texas over Clemson, Tennessee over Ohio State, Penn State over SMU, Notre Dame over Indiana.
Okay.
All right. Then I've got Arizona State over Texas, Oregon over Tennessee, Penn State over Boise State, and Notre Dame over Georgia.
Bro, why are y'all doing this shit? I swear to God, it's going to piss me off.
You guys have a really solid team.
Josh, shut up.
Let me give you
props. No, because Ryan would be so pissed if they lose in the national. If they lose in the semis, he'd be so pissed.
Let me give you your props, Ryan. All right, let me do this for you because I haven't done this all season. Okay, despite one bad loss. Okay, Notre Dame has been playing really good football on both sides of the ball. They haven't been turning the ball over like crazy. And they've been very consistent at run defense and running the ball. Those are things that you need in order to beat Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Georgia leads the country in drops, so that's a great chance for your
Georgia leads the country in drops. That is true.
And our strength is our secondary.
Exactly. So
you match up well. Whether you got like the 2s and 3s to keep up with Georgia, that's the thing.
But see, Josh, you know what's crazy? You weren't here. Connor, Phil, and now you all picked Notre Dame to beat Georgia.
Okay. Well, I just feel like this Georgia team is not.
I will say I specifically am doing it assuming Carson Beck is hurt. And not in his out. If he's in, I might make that change. I'll fully admit. But
here's my deal with all of that, right? So I'm picking Notre Dame. If Georgia beats Notre Dame, Georgia wins the championship.
Okay, that's fair. I can kind of.
The only other team that I think could challenge Georgia was Oregon.
Okay, so what about Notre Dame? You have Notre Dame beating Georgia. Who do you have them playing?
Okay, right. So far in the second round, got Arizona State, Oregon, Penn State, and Notre Dame.
No.
What's your semifinals?
Arizona State, Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's your
All
name?
right. Oregon and Notre Dame.
Okay.
I think that, look, I'm a Drew Aller believer, and as much as I want James Franklin to fight things, I feel like Notre Dame just playing football, and that's where I'm at. And the Week 0 podcast will be the national championship.
We will be at the national championship if it's Notre Dame and Oregon.
Yes,
Such an insane thing to think about.
Dude, Ryan, you bet. Or if it's, that'd be awesome.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like this. I don't like this positivity from you. I don't like this positivity from Phil. I don't like it from Lucas because Lucas literally messaged me earlier today and said, "I'll see you in the Natty." I fucking hate you guys right now.
Yeah.
I'm for once, I'm sitting here trying to be a realistic Notre Dame fan. I have us beating Indiana and losing to Georgia, and you motherfuckers like, oh, Natty run.
Natty run.
I'm like,
Natty run.
Fuck you
it's
guys,
time.
man.
It's time. Marcus Freeman is that.
Ryan,
as long as he can remember 11
Ryan
players on the field.
Because what's going to happen with all this positivity and us saying this is it's going to be like they're going to lose to Indiana.
We're gonna we're gonna lose to Indiana Friday night.
Like that's like we're like he has Oregon, Notre Dame in the national championship, Josh, and Notre Dame is gonna be like, no, we're just gonna fuck you all and just lose to Indiana.
Lose to Indiana. Oh, dude, I just don't like it. You guys are too positive. Like I don't like it. I'm usually the one that's like Notre Dame to the Natty, Notre Dame to the semis.
It's scaring them. It's scary.
Yes.
I totally get it. I really do. I do get the fear. It's hilarious to see.
The thing is, Josh, this is why I don't like how we match. I like how we match up with Georgia. My problem is Notre Dame hasn't played a game to that magnitude since week 1. Like a team that can actually I wouldn't say A&M's like that good, but I'm saying like they were the closest team we've played that can go tit for tat in terms of talent and depth, right? So that's where I'm kind of like Notre Dame hasn't had to. I guess you could say they've been in playoff mode since the NIU game because they've had to put belt to ass to everybody, but they haven't had a game that's been emotional and it's a high stakes game, win or go home.
And something else too that Notre Dame also hasn't had, but also neither is Indiana. Well, technically Indiana had one, but they lost. Is games against top 10 competition.
Yeah.
They just they haven't had it. Georgia's had a couple games. Oregon has had 1 game, 2 games. So Tennessee's had a game. Penn State's had.
And it also bothers me that we have a home game. It's going to be 8 degrees, blizzard-like conditions. That's what it's supposed to be.
Except when you guys play Georgia.
No, but they're playing a team that's used to it in Indiana.
That's the thing that's annoying.
You think Bloomington's going to be used to cold?
And Bloomington and South Bend aren't that far.
I'm telling you right now, once you get the difference between Indianapolis and Louisville is ridiculous. And the difference between Indianapolis and South Bend is just as much. It is there's a lot of
So you think Notre Dame is more favored in those conditions than Indiana?
Well, I think it's just going to be that South Bend is so much closer to the lake. So
what's the weather forecast? This is going to be what, a Friday?
It's so last time I looked it was 8 degrees. Blizzard.
It's not a night game. It's the Saturday noon game or something.
Saturday noon game, but 8 degrees blizzard. It's on the 14th.
No, the 21st.
Oh, the 21st.
It's not next week. It's 2 weeks away. So
that's right.
all the first round games are the week before Christmas, the weekend before Christmas. Set quarterfinals are like the week after that, and
But I will say this, and this is key. Ben Morrison is done for the year. Was supposed to be done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors I don't necessarily buy him, but there's rumors that he may come back.
Oh, I wouldn't buy
if
that.
if Notre Dame were to make a deep run. But Howard Cross, our D tackle, we haven't had him the last 3 weeks. He's going to be back. One of our starting offensive linemen we lost early in the year, he's going to be back for this game, healthy. Notre Dame's going to be healthy, the healthiest they've been since week 1. So that helps. But then Indiana, they've also going to get healthy, and they haven't played since we did either. So
this is going to be something that this is going to be just grueling for any team that has to play 3 games to get to the championship.
Yeah,
it really is. You're going to see, like, towards the semifinals, you're going to see a lot of banged up players. You're going to see a lot of just, let's get back to doing what we can do. And I think it's funny. All of these teams, they're going to realize that playing this playoff in this way is a lot like, and let's be honest here, as far as top competition, for some of these teams, it's as close as they're going to get to an SEC schedule.
But what I will say, though,
I thought you were going to say it's like the NFL players, where it's like
I think what you could see, Josh, what you could see, especially with the Notre Dame Penn State games, I think it benefits them because the competition they play, there's a possibility where sometime in the second half, Notre Dame and Penn State are able to put their backups in. You know what I mean?
So is the Penn State? So is the semifinals? Are those going to be at?
So okay, Georgia.
Are those going to be at neutral sites?
So
yeah.
Georgia is the Sugar Bowl in Louisiana. Boise Fiesta in Arizona. Oregon is the or Rose Bowl, so it's pretty much a home game for them. Arizona State is the
Cotton Bowl.
Is the what?
Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl.
Oh,
no,
it
Peach
is
Bowl.
the
Peach Bowl.
No, it's the Peach Bowl in Georgia. It's the Peach Bowl in Georgia.
In Atlanta. Okay.
In Atlanta, yeah. So, and then the semifinals, I think, are the other 2 bowl games, which would be what, the Cotton Bowl and the what's the other one? Where would where are the semis? Where are the semis?
Cotton Bowl and what's the other one?
Oh,
Yeah, Rose, Peach, Cotton,
Fiesta,
Sugar, Fiesta. What's the last one?
Because there's a 6th bowl.
There's 6.
Oh my God.
I've forgotten too.
Let's make it the Idaho Potato Bowl. I don't know.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking at
I'm not gonna lie.
Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl.
How the
Oh,
fuck did we forget the Orange Bowl?
bro.
Because it's in the worst. Because it's at the worst stadium of all of them. That's why.
Okay. But my other thing, Josh, is this is what I was kind of annoyed about. Because if you get a bye week, right? Depending on where you are seated, like Oregon gets first dibs on where they play, the neutral site. Georgia gets second dibs. Boise gets third. That's how that kind of goes.
Yeah.
I don't like that if we beat Indiana, we get to play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, but it's basically going to be a de facto Georgia home game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
But
same
it's gonna
thing
be
for
warm, so
Oregon.
both the teams will be fine.
Pretty much, we're getting the actual. If Ohio State wins, we're gonna get an actual Rose, like almost an actual traditional Rose Bowl.
A real life Rose Bowl, yeah.
And actually going to be a real the original Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
So something else too. I would be, if I'm you guys, I wouldn't be too concerned about that because Georgia, in their last 2 games that were technically basically home games, overtime. So I wouldn't be too upset about that if I were you guys.
They do get loud though. Like I don't know. Would it be as bad as A&M, Kyle Field?
Probably yeah.
But
you guys would be all right.
I would also hope that Notre Dame fans would, because we do travel well. I mean, I don't maybe. I'm not expecting a lot, but maybe like 30%.
Probably about 50, honestly.
You think it'd be 50-50?
I think at least 40-60.
Well, because Sean was in here earlier, and he was talking about, because I've already got my tickets for the playoff game, the first round. So he's like, do you think Notre Dame fans are going to want to spend an extra $1,000 to $2,000 to go watch Notre Dame play Georgia when they've already spent $800 to $1,000 to watch Notre Dame play Indiana.
Which, by the way, asinine, right? That's too much.
It's what you got to pay for tickets nowadays if you want to see a game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? If we do go to the national championship, nosebleeds. I don't care.
Just fuck yeah! No, we are not. No.
No. I don't mean.
I'm just doing this
the
so we
very top row.
hoping that it happens. Now,
Lucas is like, "Hey, we're gonna get a suite, right?" I'm like,
No. I'm sorry, Lucas. You got an extra, I don't know, 120 grand lying around?
Hey, dude, when I toured the Mile High Stadium, like some of those like the suites, it's like $17,000 a year for one suite for 8 or 9 home games. I'm like, seriously, just for
what do you think it would cost Notre Dame, Oregon, and a national championship
for 4 tickets in a suite?
For 4 in a suite.
Now, question. Would we still go
national championship and suite, right?
Would we still go if Oregon or Notre Dame is in, or is it only have to?
It's only dogs.
We're not doing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And it'll be down in it's down in Atlanta, isn't it?
In Atlanta, so
Atlanta.
So I can probably just drive there.
Yeah, Connor and I will just drive. Yeah.
Well, let's not get too out of ourselves. They got to make it there first.
Oh yeah, I know. Still got to beat Georgia.
You're talking about a team that hasn't won a national title since 1988, and a team that has never won a national title.
Well, I mean, Georgia was 1980 before they won. All right, guys. Well, I got to hop off of here.
Well, let's
end it here.
For Josh, for Ryan, I'm Connor. We're finally ending this. We will be back. I don't know what. Actually, no. We're gonna do another. What?
Bowl Mania. Sunday.
Yes, we're gonna do our Bowl Mania next. We're gonna do our Bowl Mania next Sunday when all the bowls are out.
Well, actually, when do the bowl games start?
That's a good question. I don't think it starts next week. I think it starts the week after.
It will be the week after, yeah. The week before Christmas.
It'll start all that, or it might start next weekend. Actually.
Yeah.
So it might start next weekend. So we'll have to pay attention. We might have to do another show on Thursday or something whenever the bowl matchups actually come out. So, but we'll do that. It'll be nice and fun. Until then, guys, see you later.